Welcome to Visassimply again, Dee Ahluwalia. I thought I should come up with another video for you guys, and what would I like to talk to you guys today? All right. Everyone, when you're coming to our office, or when you're calling us, or when you're making an online inquiry, what is the first question? All right, how many points do I need? Do I need 80 points? Do I need 85 points? Do I need 90 points? Do I need 95 points to get 189? So what did I thought? I thought it is important. It is important for you to understand what is the immigration policy for the year 19, 19 and 20, this physical year. And to explain you that, I thought it might be a good idea. I do a little bit of my research. I pull these numbers out, and all these numbers are, you can find these numbers on government database on Home Affairs website. So these numbers are available, but I thought let's bring them all in one. Let's look at them and let's see how it's gonna make a difference. What strategy do you need to make that change, and what does it mean for you? All right, now guys, let's talk about it. Okay, now if you really look at it, and people saying yes, it is getting difficult, to get permanent residency. Yes, it is, and I think the main reason is because we live in a lovely country, Australia. Everybody loves Australia, and there is so much more competition than the time when I migrated 18, 19 years back. There's so much more competition now, and everybody wants to be Australian, or part of Australia, or part of this beautiful country. And that's where it has become much more difficult, because it's just not migrants want to migrate from Asia. There's so much more demand from UK, Ireland, European countries, because we are in a wonderful land. All right, now guys, all right, let's talk about some numbers. All right, now when we look at the numbers, so these are the basically, in this physical year, 160,000 people will get permanent residency. All right, and that's the total numbers. I'm gonna break it down for you. And in the last physical year, all right, it was from June to July, 190 people got their permanent residency. And if you want to compare numbers, so 190, 160, so if you really look at it, there's only a difference of 15% in terms of people getting permanent residency, but it's a different strategy altogether this year. And in my view, the government is trying to divide the growth and population equally, or to be honest, equally, and they want to push more growth to the regional areas. And the government has been trying to do this from last few years, but that strategy of 187 did not work that well. And now they've come with a new strategy, and that will help grow our regional areas. We're going to have more cities, and I'm assuming we're going to have some more big cities in the next 10 years. And this policy would help achieving that. Okay. Now, guys, if you look at the numbers, all right, employer sponsored, we are talking about subclass 186 ENS. Now, in the last physical year, there were 48,250 seats available, or 48,250 people got their permanent residency through employer-sponsored stream, which is ENS. Now, this year, that will drop down to 30,000. Okay, so that's one change. So there will be 15,000 less people. And now, what does employer sponsorship stream means? Employer sponsorship stream basically means is ENS 186. So what do we need in for 186? That is, your occupation should be on a medium to long-term list, and you have an employer willing to sponsor you. You have, now there are two different categories to get into it through 482 stream, which is, we work on 482 for 3 years, and then your employer, if employer wishes, they can sponsor you on a permanent visa. The second one would be the direct entry stream, where you have your full skill assessment and you have 3 years of work experience, and you have an employer who's willing to sponsor you, and there is a shortage where an employer cannot find a local Australian to do that job, and that's where they can sponsor you. Okay, so this is especially for those people, or for those who want to stick to the 5 cities, which are Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Perth. Okay, so if you want to stick to these cities, this is what you would be looking at. You would be looking at ENS. You would be looking at ENS. In my view, probably this is the only pathway, unless we talk about later. If you find Australian partner in one of those cities, that's a different story. Otherwise, in my view, probably in the coming or in the near future, this is the only pathway. This is the only pathway, and the reason why this is the only pathway is because I'll get to the next step and then I'll talk about 189 and how it's affecting. Now, most of you or all of you, you're still struggling about 189 and thinking what is happening, what is not happening. Now guys, on skill independent, which is subclass 189, where we all talk about whether we need 80 points, 85 points, 95 points, 90 points, stuff like that. Now, in the last physical year, there were 43,990 applications approved for permanent residency under the skill independent 189 categories. Now, I don't know how many of you understand that under this category 189, basically, so there's one point system for everyone. Then there is also a special condition for New Zealanders. So the New Zealanders who have lived in Australia for 5 years or more and they have a income of 53,900 plus super for the last 4 years, they are also eligible to apply under 189. That's the only requirement they need. They should be in the country for 5 years. In those 5 years, 4 years, they have been making more than 53,900 plus super. They meet the criteria. There's no age requirement. There is no points requirement. So what I'm trying to tell you is, so that's 43,990 minus New Zealand stream. Now, I had been trying to get some figures which are publicly available, and in year 2017 and 18, I could find the data, and what data I could find out, there are roughly 11,500 New Zealanders got their permanent residency under this category. So that's sort of, and now this is, I'm talking about 17 and 18. I could not find the complete data of 18 and 19 yet. There is some data available up till the month of April, but that's not really, it's not going to reflect, so we don't know the whole physical year. But I'm just guessing, so in 17, 18, they have 11,000 applications, 11,500 applications. To be more precise, there were 11,614 applications which got through. So that is, and again, remember, that is, so what I'm trying to tell you is, this number minus people who are New Zealanders and applied for 189, okay? So there were quite a lot of people. So even if you're guessing maybe hypothetically, because we don't have the numbers for the last year, maybe, I'm guessing there should not be much difference, There should be somewhere close to this number, what was in 17, 18, okay? So I'm just guessing on those bases, roughly around, just hypothetically, minus 10,000 people who are New Zealanders, just a ballpark, just to, for understanding. So roughly around 33,000 people got their visas on 189. And when we look at the EOI invitations for the last year, the invitations went down up to 70 points. So the invitation went down up to 70 points. Basically, why they went down up to 70 points? Because of this reason, and because 30,000 people actually, you get. Now, when we look at this year, in this physical year, there's already a number approved, which is 18,652. All right. Now, when we are looking at the invitations what we have, so I think the first invitation round there were 1,000 seats, and then there was 100, and people are disappointed, and everybody's thinking of and it is crazy. 85 points, 90 points, 95 points. That's crazy. All right. I know someone so dear to me. She's excellent. She got 80 points, and yeah. And a lot of you, all right? A lot of you, I know you're not sitting on 80 points. Even a lot of accountants, sitting on 85 points, not getting any invitations. And I'll tell you why you're not getting any invitations. Because this number, 18,652, is, yes, allotted to 189 stream, the dream visa everyone has. But you gotta consider how many New Zealanders would apply, or how many New Zealanders would get their permanent residency in this stream. So that number would be minus from this number. So looking at the past, if hypothetically we're looking at like, 10, 11,000 people are doing it every year. If you look at that numbers, then in reality, there might be a possibility there would be hardly, very, very few people who are going to get their permanent residency under this category in this physical year. It is very critical and it is very important to understand that. If I be you, or this is how I think, all right? Stop it. Stop dreaming 189. It's more like a myth now. Stop dreaming about it, all right? If you get it, fantastic, no problem, all right? But if you want to stay in Australia permanently, and if you're not a New Zealander, and your strategy is 189, in my view, it's not a good strategy. And I'll tell you why it's not a good strategy. So hypothetically, there are like, out of this 18,000 people, like, just, 10, 11,000, whatever New Zealand is going to get in. So just remember this. So the total number is 160. So what you're trying to do is, so most of you, yeah, and then there's no doubt, 189 is the best, category in a skill migration, no doubt about it. But it's a very small number, maybe 7,000 people would only get it on the points based, all right? So out of 160, 6,000, so what that comes to? It doesn't even comes to what, like maybe 5% or even less of the total people who are going to get it. Now, something which is, only 5% available and against 95%, and you're trying to make the strategy to get into that 5%, I think you're wasting your time. And there's no guarantee. We don't know if this number is going to increase, because there have been a lot of dramas, and there are a lot of New Zealanders, because I have a lot of New Zealander clients as well. There are a lot of New Zealanders who want permanent residency. There are reasons why they want permanent residency, because they get more benefits. Their kids can futurely, they want to get the citizenship, so their kids can get hacks and get some benefits what only citizens get. So a lot of New Zealanders are getting into that, and that's why. So guys, stop looking at 189. Stop looking at 189. Yes, if you get it, that's fantastic. If you get it, that's fantastic. But start looking on, there are other categories available, and stop looking at these. Start looking at these categories now. So again, what we are looking at. So, or again, come back to employer sponsored. So if you want to be in metropolitan areas, all right, stop dreaming 189. You're going to start looking these numbers. You're going to start looking these numbers, so which is 186. Now, if you want to get 186, what does that mean? If you want to get 186, generally speaking, if you are, if you are here, if you are onshore, if you are an international student, or if you're on a working holiday visa, you would first need to get your 482. Now, to get your 482, you need 2 years of work experience, and then you have to work on 482 for 3 years. Now, for basically ENS, you need 3 years of work experience and a skill assessment. All right. But again, of course, you have to have an employer who's willing to sponsor you, and especially for the students who are here and who don't have work experience. That's why I say, I always talk about it. Whatever you're studying, whatever your occupation is, start working in that occupation. If you're not going to work in that occupation, in my view, it's going to be highly impossible to get it through, to be very honest. Now, all right, so we are already talking about this. So now, this is where you need to concentrate, okay? This is where you need to concentrate. So this is where the numbers, so in the last year, the regional and the state sponsorship were 28,850. 28,850, which now has increased. So they have the state and territory nomination, which is subclass 190. All right, so they got around 25,000, 24,968 to be more precise. And then we have skill work regional, and then we have skill employment regional. So there's another 14,000 and 9,000. So that's where the government is concentrating. That's where the numbers have gone up, and that's where you should also concentrate on these 3 categories. Okay, and now 190 skill employment regional, skill work regional. Skill employment regional would more be 187. Skill work regional would be 887. All right. Now, then after that we have business talent innovation. Last year business talent and innovation would be 7260. This year 6,862. I'll tell you what. a lot of you would be able to fit in this category as well, especially the ones, the ones who are sitting in, ones who are studying in expensive universities. You guys are spending $150,000 to do your courses. We can look into these categories. I'm going to do a different video. I don't want to add this to because it has to be an independent video specifically for business, investment, and innovation. I'm going to do separate videos for that. You're more than welcome to look at them and get more idea about them. But I don't want to go in very detail about that. I want to more concentrate about how you look things and how you strategize stuff. Now there's another new visa subcategory, global talent. That's 5,000 seats available on this physical year. Then there's a distinct talent, which 200 seats are available. Then other big question goes to the family visa. The family visas, if you look at the last physical year, the partner visas 47,825. This physical year 39,799. So they sort of dropped down 7,000 people, and that's the reason why a lot of you, when you're applying for a permanent residency through partner visas, the temporary one, the wait time could be up to 2 years. Once you get your temporary one, technically you can get the permanent after 2 years because the queue is so long. It is taking another 2.5 years. So taking 4.5 years for some people to get permanent residency if they apply for the partner visa. But anyways, as long as you keep your Australian partners happy, it should be okay, because you get your full work rights, you get your Medicare, so it doesn't really make a difference other than you got to maintain that relationship. All right, now the parent visas, they have also been dropped down. It was 8,675 and it's been now dropped down to 7,371. A slight difference, not really make much difference, but also remember one thing, guys. This year the government has also introduced a temporary parent visa, which could be up to for a period of 3 years, 5 years, and they can stay up to 10 years. All right. Then we have a special eligibility visa, which is not big numbers, and then we have a child visa, which was always the same. There's no cap on child visas, so that's all fine. That's all good. So in a nutshell, last physical year it was 190,000 people who get permanent residency. This year is going to be 160,000 people, and this is what you got to look at it. Okay, stop looking at this category. Stop looking at this category, because in my view, for a lot of you, are not able to understand that. It's a myth. It's a myth. Stop chasing this myth. You get it? Fantastic. Good luck. Or, bloody prepare for 90 points if you can get it. All right. Yeah, it sounds crazy to me. But yeah, you should be stop looking, and there's no guarantee how many people are getting in. Look at the last 3, I don't see, I really don't know the numbers. I'm just, I'm looking at all this data from the past, and I'm looking at what is allocated for this physical year, and I'm just making my looking at the history and the present and the numbers allocated. I'm making my best guess, but they're very they cannot be 100% accurate, but I think they would be very close because the common sense applies here, and this is what we're seeing, this is what has been happening. So I don't think there's going to be much people. Once they're going to minus the New Zealand stream, there's going to be much people getting one at 9. So stop looking at it. This is where, this is you. Unless you don't have an Australian partner, this is the main category you got to look at it. That's where you can get your permanent residency through skill, or if you want to stick to metropolitan cities, then forward to ENS. That is your pathway. I don't see it any other way around. So in a nutshell, what does that mean? In a nutshell, it means that you bloody need to work. You need to work in your occupation. All right. If you're not going to work in the competition is so high, guys. The competition is high. Roughly there are, this is again, roughly there are 1.5 million temporary migrants at any point of time, a little bit up and down in the country, okay? And a lot of people want to settle down here. A lot of people, it's most of the students, they want to settle down here. Working holiday makers, they want to settle down here. People who are on work visas, they want to settle down here. And yeah, the competition is high, and you need to start looking at this. You need to start looking at this, and you need to, if you really want to stick in Australia, stop looking at this category 189, and then strategize how you're going to achieve your goals. In my view, you have better options. In my view, you have better chance. Also, guys, everybody is moving to the region. The government is pushing regional. All right. A lot of you have started make that move. A lot of you are still sort of shy. A lot of you are waiting for others to. Then you follow the lead. I can tell you one thing today. At the moment, it is easy. I've been sort of following immigration from last 20 years. All right, and I can tell you one thing. From what I understand, in next 1 or 2 years, it will start getting difficult to get PR in the regional areas as well. Again, it's a demand and supply. And once the migrants will start moving, also think in this way, once the migrants will start moving to these regional areas, these small towns are going to start becoming big cities. Because when a migrant is coming in, they need food, they need shelter, they need school, college to study, so they need everything, okay? So and it sort of, spirals and grows the whole economy. And of course, there would be more jobs created in the regional areas. The regional areas are already crying for skilled people, and further it's going to grow. So guys, this is the right time. Make the strategy. If you like my video, share it with your friends. It is important. The ones even, the planning to come to Australia, I think it's important to know and understand that. All right. It is important that, you cut off with your false dream. This is what I want to say. All right, guys. Keep watching my videos and subscribe my channel. So whenever I do a new video, you can have a look at it. And please pass me your comments and I would be more than pleased to answer you guys. Take care for now. Bye.